Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. What a way to start this video, me looking like an absolute tomato. But I just got out of one of my hot fitness classes. It's been, ew, my hair looks so gross. It's been like 10 days since I've been to a class, and boy did I feel it. I feel like I've been super MIA lately. Honestly, life has just been busy. I don't even know if I can put my hair back up right now, to be honest. Life has just been busy. I haven't really had the chance to sit down and film much. I tried to start a couple videos and they just, like, I started them and then I just never continued them. And so I've just been totally off my sort of YouTube filming and posting game, but I don't have any more sort of travel plans for the next little bit, for the next maybe month or so at least. So I'm hoping that I can kind of get back into filming and whatnot. I've just been like, I've honestly been all over the place with going over to Vancouver Island a few times to see my brother and his now wife, because they had all their like wedding events and everything. So I was kind of all over the place for a couple weekends for that stuff. And then last weekend was Canada Day, kind of long weekend. Canada Day was on Tuesday, but Jesse and I had Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday off work. So we went up to, it's called Sun Peaks Mountain, but it's out near Kamloops, if you're familiar with BC at all. But basically it's a mountain biking park. So we went there for the weekend and we went camping and went to the bike park and just hung out. I was planning on vlogging more of that weekend, but A, it's a little bit hard to vlog when you're riding a bike, and B, when we weren't riding bikes, we were just sitting at camp relaxing and enjoying each other's company. It's honestly been a while since we've had some good like quality time together, just the two of us, so that was really nice. But yeah, that's basically where I've been. I've just been not at home, and even when I have been at home, I've just been working a bunch, so I haven't even really been able to read all that much the past like month or so, maybe even longer than that, maybe even like month or 2 months, I don't know. Either way, hopefully life will be somewhat chill for the next maybe month or so, but then in about a month we pick up our little puppy. I don't even think I've mentioned that before, actually, because I think I might have mentioned it in one of the videos I tried to start and it didn't end up working out. But Jesse and I are getting a little border collie puppy, and I'm so excited. We pick her up in a month. She's a month old now. We pick her up in the beginning of August, and she's gonna be a little 8-week-old border collie. I'm so stoked. I'm a little bit nervous because we have Simba, of course, and I don't know how he's gonna react to having a puppy in the house. So fingers crossed that, I know it'll probably take a little bit for them to warm up to each other, but fingers crossed that they do eventually warm up to each other. And on that note, Simba is currently wearing a cone of shame because he had to get 10 teeth pulled yesterday. My poor little bug. So he's old. He's like 15 or 16 years old now, so it happens when animals get old, unfortunately. But yeah, so he's got a cone on his head so he can't like paw at his face, and I have to give him antibiotics and pain meds every 12 hours, which is really, really hard. I had to give him his first dose this morning, and like, obviously, if you know cats, they don't like their heads and their mouths to be held normally, let alone when they have like stitches and stuff and they're probably in pain. And it's just very hard to, like, I can't give him these antibiotics or the meds with his food. They have to go directly into his mouth. So I had to give him his first doses this morning, which proved very difficult. I had to wake Jesse up to get him to hold Simba so that I could like basically force the stuff into his mouth. So hopefully that'll get easier. Anyways, that's my little mini update to start off this video. As you can see, I obviously just got out of my fitness class, like I just mentioned. But other than that, I'm gonna head home, and I don't have any plans today. So I have a book on my Kindle that I want to finish reading, and then I'll probably start a new book. So I will check back in when we get home after I've showered and everything and let you know what we're gonna read. Hello friends. So as you can see, I am home and freshly showered. It's a little bit kind of overcast. It's going between overcast and like kind of sunny outside, but Jesse has some work to do on our Jeep. So I think I'm just gonna sit kind of in my chair with him outside while he works on the Jeep and I read. As I mentioned earlier, I wanted to tell you kind of what my reading plans are for the day. I'm starting off with trying to finish Dungeon Crawler Carl. I started this when we went camping last weekend, and I'm just on the first one. I had heard such good things about this series, and it's on Kindle Unlimited, so obviously I had to give it a go. And honestly, I'm loving it so far. It is so funny. I actually keep telling Jesse that I think that it's a book that he would really enjoy as well, just because of like how it's written. There's no like romance or anything really involved, at least in the first one. It's just funny and kind of crude. It's definitely like a comedic sci-fi book, if that makes sense. My Kindle says I'm about 78% through. Not too much more to finish here. I'm on page 345, and I think there's only like 400 and something pages. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish this first, and then I will come back later on when we are picking a new book. Okay, so I just finished reading Dungeon Crawler Carl, and I absolutely loved it. Part of me kind of just wanted to jump directly into the second book, but I have a different book that I am really excited to read, Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. I have heard such good things about it. And Jesse had actually pre-ordered this book for me for Christmas, so it arrived last month, and I didn't realize that because it was a pre-order and it's a first edition copy, it's got V.E. Schwab's actual signature, and it's not just one of the like printed signatures. Like, you can actually see it like bleeding through on the back of the page. I don't know if you can see that. But it's so cool. I'm so stoked, and I've heard such good things about it from people who have read it already. So that's what I'm going to start next. That's probably what I'm gonna be reading for like the rest of my day today. Tomorrow, I can't remember if I mentioned this earlier, but tomorrow I am going to a horse show at the barn that I ride at. So I'm probably not going to be doing much reading tomorrow, other than maybe when I come home in the like afternoon, evening sometime. But I'll be at the horse show pretty much all day tomorrow. I am like helping out at the show. I'm not just there to watch. There was another show at the barn a couple weeks ago, and I helped the owner of the barn, which is also my coach. I helped her do the like scorekeeping and stuff for the show, so I'll probably be doing the same thing tomorrow. But it's a good time. It's so much fun to just hang out and not like be in the show, because I'm not a showgirl. I've done horse shows when I was younger, but I just can't do it now. I'm not competitive enough for that anymore, so. Hello friends. So it is indeed the next day. It's actually just about 6 o'clock in the evening. But I did spend the majority of the day at the horse show. This is the only video that I got from the entire show. So I'm sorry. I was just busy doing other things, helping out at the show. I didn't really have a chance to kind of just stand and watch and film anything. Aside from that, I got home maybe around like 3 o'clock, and then Jesse and I went grocery shopping, and now I've just been sitting and reading a little bit more. I am currently on page 100, and I'm liking it so far. It's starting off a little bit slow, but to be fair, it's all character development so far. I don't think this is really a spoiler to say because it's not necessarily in like the blurb of the book, but if you've heard anything regarding marketing for this book, you would know that V.E. Schwab labels it her toxic lesbian vampire book. Therefore, there are vampires involved. However, at the 100-page mark, we don't know any of that yet. We haven't been introduced to any vampires that we know of yet, and the main characters have not become vampires yet, which I assume they will, because I feel like that's kind of gonna be a lot of the point of the book. But it hasn't happened yet at this point in the book. It's just been a lot of like backstory and kind of seeing where the characters come from, like how they kind of grew up and the state that they are in currently with their life and everything going on, which I'm sure will lead into why they end up becoming vampires. And I'm saying become vampires because I'm assuming that's what's going to happen, because otherwise I don't know how vampires would be involved in this book. So I'm assuming the main characters are all going to become vampires at some point. So we haven't gotten there yet, but we're just leading up to it. I am really liking like the writing style, aside from it just feeling a little bit on the slow side. I'm forgiving that because of the whole character development kind of plot setup aspect in the beginning of the book. But aside from that, I'm really liking it so far. I like the way it's written. The characters are interesting enough that I'm like, okay, what's going on here? What are these characters' like motivations? What makes them tick? Why do they end up becoming vampires? And we're getting there. We're getting little like snippets and stuff now. I'm starting to get the picture. I can't tell if it's gonna be a 5-star read. I don't necessarily anticipate it to be a 5-star read. I think if it ends up being 5 stars for me, I would be a little bit surprised, to be honest. I think I anticipate or hope that it'll end up being like maybe a 4-star. Hello friends. It is indeed the next day. It's actually like 3 o'clock on Monday now, but I just wanted to give a little bit of an update on what I've been doing today. I didn't actually make it that much farther into my book yesterday. I got to page 112. So a whopping 12 pages from my last update. But we actually hit the point where the first of the main characters has been bitten and is in the process of transitioning into a vampire. So I feel like it's going to get a little bit more interesting from here on out. I think from what I understand, from what I've seen people say, is this isn't like your typical evil vampire sort of book. I've heard that it's more on the like humanity side of vampirism. So it focuses more on like, I guess, why they want to be vampires and how that would help them with the issues that they're having in their life. I'm sure we'll have more thoughts. But the other reason that I kind of wanted to bring my camera out is because I just finished editing the video that I was working on for my brother and his wife's like wedding video. I apologize in advance because you guys will probably never see it because I'm not posting it on YouTube at all. It's just for my brother and his wife, really.
and whoever they want to show. I'm very happy with it. Hold on, my little satellite kitty wants to hop in my lap. Come here. Come here. Simba obviously still has his cone on. I have taken it off a little bit when it seems like he's kind of more chill and not pawing at his face. Like, he probably doesn't need it on right now, to be honest, but he was just napping for the past like hour or so. So I figured I'd leave it on if he was comfortable. But I have been taking it off when he's not like pawing at his face and stuff. It seems like every time I give him his antibiotics and his pain meds, that sort of like reminds him that he's got stitches in his mouth probably, and just makes him a little bit irritable and annoyed. So every time I give him his meds, he seems to kind of paw at his face a little bit, so I have to put the comb back on. Otherwise, he's been doing pretty well. He doesn't seem like he's in pain or anything. He's just his usual self, just with less teeth. I might do a little bit of reading here for the last like hour until I'm off work. But after work today, I am actually going to it's called Theater Under the Stars. It's basically in downtown Vancouver in Stanley Park. They do theater performances. So I'm going to one of the shows down there with one of my girlfriends. We're gonna go see Legally Blonde. So I'm stoked. I feel like it's gonna be so much fun. Last year we went and saw School of Rock. That was amazing. Usually we show up and you can see like how the stage is set and stuff. So if I get anything, I will insert that here. We also went to see Frozen, the musical, at the Queen Elizabeth Theatre last year in Vancouver. And I don't know if that was like official Broadway on tour or like where it actually came from, but it was technically like Broadway, I suppose. But that was amazing. Like, all the sets and the costumes and the special effects and everything of that show were amazing. I'm also just excited to hang out with my girlfriend. I haven't seen her probably in a few months now, so. And I'm hoping tomorrow that I'll be able to get a more significant chunk of the book read, because I feel like it's one of those books where if I just read little bits and keep taking kind of extended breaks between, then I feel like it'll feel really slow to me. But I think it's one of those books where if you just sit down and kind of binge read it, I think I'll enjoy it more. So I need to find bigger chunks of time that I can actually sit down and just read. Hello friends. So it's actually a couple days later. I think the last time I updated you was on Monday, and I was heading out to see Legally Blonde. It was fantastic. It was so much fun. I only have like the one clip of just the empty stage because obviously you can't film the theater performance, so that's all you got from me. I apologize. But it was an amazing show, and I had a really good time hanging out with my girlfriend. We went out to dinner first, and then we went to the show, and it was a good night. Obviously, Simba no longer has his cone on anymore. I don't know if the stitches have actually dissolved yet or not, because he had the dissolvable stitches in his mouth. But as you can see, he's as snuggly and lovey as ever. The main reason that I wanted to turn on my camera is because I don't know what like the percentage is, but hey, no, you're not going on my desk. You can stay on my lap though. I don't know how far I am in percentage wise. I think I'm like between 40 and 50%, but I'm on page 223, and I wouldn't say that it's necessarily picked up a lot more, because I think I mentioned in my last update that it started off a little bit slow. I wouldn't say that it necessarily sped up, but I will say that it's gotten more interesting, and we've obviously gotten past the point of just getting to know the characters, and we're actually seeing kind of how they're coping with becoming vampires and what they're doing with their new life and the new, like, kind of powers that they have, and the struggles that they're having with that as well. So it's interesting so far. I think it's definitely more of kind of like a character study sort of fantasy-ish book. I think the characters are really complex. There's a lot of like positive and negative traits that they have. And I really like the way that it's written, actually. It's not like super lyrical in the sense that there's too much fluff going on, but it is written in a way that creates a very well-rounded atmosphere, I think. The way that V.E. Schwab manages to incorporate descriptions of places and events and characters and character traits and what they look like and how they act, and you get a feel of even like the places that the characters are in. It's almost like the places have personalities themselves. It's very interesting. I really like it so far. So again, I really do like it. I still don't know if it's gonna be a 5-star read for me. But like I said before, I don't really anticipate it to be a 5-star read, so we'll see, I guess. All right, as you can see, I am in a different location. It's actually Saturday morning, like 10 o'clock-ish, and I'm whispering because I think my neighbors are outside. I'm just laying outside. I do have a top on. It's just a bikini top. I'm not actually just topless, but I am finishing up the last like 100 pages here, and I think we're almost getting to like what the climax of the story is sort of supposed to be, because in the beginning you don't really know how all of these women are supposed to kind of connect with each other, other than the fact that they all become vampires. But now we're finding out that it kind of had like almost a butterfly effect in a way. Like, because one of them became a vampire, it eventually led to the others becoming vampires. I don't want to give too much away, but it all kind of makes sense, and we're getting to like the climax of the book in the sense that we're finding out why the girl in the present day timeline has become a vampire. Or not why, but like how her getting changed into a vampire came to be. And we've also learned more about like the humanity aspect and how that plays a part in what has happened. I'm gonna finish up reading the last 100 pages here, and then I'll give you my final thoughts and we can pick a new book for me to read. Last night I actually started watching Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, so I might this evening sit outside in the backyard and kind of have a little bit of a movie night. But for now, I'm gonna finish reading this. It's a few hours later. It is actually like 4 o'clock in the afternoon now. But I did end up finishing my book, and then I went for a little bit of a walk kind of down the street to the grocery store, got some snacks for our movie night later. I did also choose my next book to read, and when I was on my walk I started listening to the audiobook of it, so I'm already a little bit into it, the next book. I actually texted Jesse because he's obviously not here, and I got him to help me choose which book to read. So I gave him the choice of Us Against You, Ledge, or Carl's Doomsday Scenario, which is the second book in the Dungeon Crawler Carl's series, and he chose this one. So I was kind of excited for it. It's funny because earlier today when I was trying to think of what books I might want to read next, I really wanted to pick up Us Against You by Frederick Bachman. And then I remembered that I just finished the first Dungeon Crawler Carl book, and I remembered how like fast-paced it was, because I feel like I need something that's more just like super fast paced right now, and I know the Dungeon Crawler Carl series is going to hit that mark, because I did like Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. First of all, that's such a mouthful of a title, but I did like it. I ended up giving it 4 stars. The ending was really good. I did not expect what happened in the end to happen, so that was interesting. But it was definitely like the whole book was kind of a slower pace, and which was fine. Like, it matched the story. The pace of the story matched like what was going on, if that makes any sense. It was a bit of a thicker book, like it was 530 something pages long, so that paired with it being a bit of a slower pace, I feel like I want a book that I'm just gonna rip right through. I would say if I'm being optimistic, I could finish it by tomorrow, like by the end of the day tomorrow. But we'll see. We'll see what I end up getting up to tomorrow. So far, my plans for tomorrow are the same as my plans for today, which is nothing. All right, I have relocated because the sun has finally gone behind the trees. I just ordered my pizza. It should be here. It's in the oven right now, so it should be here within the next 15 to 20 minutes or so. But I'm out here sitting on a little blanket, and I've got Harry Potter on, and I've got some Oreos and some white cheddar popcorners, and I've got my water, and the pizza should be here soon, so I'm gonna start my little movie night.
Took you long enough? Wasn't the only one who thought you'd done it.
Can't believe it, she's done it again. Miss Granger, a plain but ambitious girl, seems to be developing a taste for famous wizards.
All right, as you can see, my pizza already arrived. I did already devour a slice of it because I was just starving when I got here, that I had a slice, and then I forgot to film a nice box opening to a full pizza. Oh well, you win some, you lose some. I'm going to settle in here and finish watching my movie and eating my pizza, and I think I'm just gonna end things here for tonight, and I'll check back in with you guys tomorrow morning. Good morning, my sweet friends. I am getting a little bit of a late-ish start to my Sunday morning. It's 9 o'clock now. I did wake up at like 7, but I kind of laid in bed for a little bit, and then I got up, fed Simba, and I just finished doing a bunch of dishes. I couldn't turn my camera on when I still had a ton of dirty dishes on my counter because that just felt wrong. I don't know. I don't have the most like aesthetically pleasing house, and I'm not like the tidiest person in the world. I would love to be, but that is just not me. So if you see any mess in the background of any of my videos, no, you didn't. But anyways, so I did indeed get a little bit of a sunburn yesterday from being in the sun in the morning. I don't know if you can even really tell. It's worse like down on my stomach and like my bikini line areas. So there will be no laying out in the sun today, unfortunately. But that's okay. I'll probably end up just sitting in the backyard and reading. Which, on that note, how far into this am I now? You know, one thing I don't like about Audible, it doesn't tell you like the percentage of how far you are into the book that you're reading. But my Kindle tells me that I'm 32%. So I'm hoping that I should be able to finish Carl's doomsday scenario today. But for now, I'm actually going to make myself a cup of tea. I haven't had just like a good old regular cup of tea in honestly so long. But I've gotten back into a little bit more coffee in the recent weeks because I just feel like I've been so tired lately. And honestly, like caffeine doesn't even really do all that much for me. I wouldn't say it wakes me up and gives me that caffeine buzz that most people get, but it's more of a placebo effect for me. So I still drink my coffee. Also, it tastes good. So, which is crazy because I used to hate coffee. Like the smell and the taste of coffee used to gross me out so bad, and now I love it. But anyways, I'm gonna make just a regular cup of tea, and I'm gonna take that outside into the little gazebo area there and get back into reading. I can already tell that it is going to be a hot day today. It's 9:30 and it's already 22 degrees apparently. So I'll probably be hunkered down in the shade for most of the day. But I've got my cup of tea. Oh, that's perfect. My mom always tells me that when it's hot out, one of her favorite sort of tricks, I guess, is to actually have a hot cup of tea, because I guess it makes the inside of her warmer, which makes the outside of her feel cooler. I don't know if that actually makes any sense or if it's just one of those like placebo things. I don't know, but my mom swears by it. So I'm gonna get back into reading Carl's doomsday scenario, but I guess I should give you a little bit of an update since we are like a third of the way through already. I'm loving it. I think these books are the type of books that you just like have a good time reading. They're not literary works of genius by any means, but they are so entertaining. They're just so funny and they're very fast paced. They're not hard to read whatsoever. I keep telling Jesse that I think he would like reading these books because they're just quick and easy. I think if this is anything like the first book, I think it's probably going to be a 5-star read. When I give a book 5 stars, it's not because it is some work of art all the time. Sometimes it is, but usually it's just because it's like entertaining and I enjoyed my time reading it. It's not necessarily that I'm looking at the technical aspects of the writing or the storytelling. It's more so how much did I enjoy my time reading it. All right, my friends, it's quite a bit later. I took a couple reading breaks today so that my brain could process things. But it is about 7 o'clock now, and I just finished reading Carl's Doomsday Scenario. And what do you know? It was another 5-star. I think this whole series is going to be a 5-star series for me, honestly. They are so entertaining. And I have the same feeling this time that I did with the first book, is that I immediately just want to jump into the next one because they always leave on a little bit of a cliffhanger and I just want to know what's gonna happen. But I do have a couple books that the audiobook came up on my Libby, so I have those borrowed now, so I kind of have to read those ones. I'm not like disappointed by that because these other books are really good too, but at the same time, obviously I would love to continue on with this series immediately. Other than that, not really much else in terms of thoughts. I don't want to give too much away since this is the second book in the series, but I will just say that I absolutely loved it. I think my rating said that enough, but yeah. On that note, I think I'm going to end this week's video here. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.